Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to my channel. I am Nate, and this is Peach Domino Paper Crafts. If you're new here, what we do is we create junk journals and other paper crafts. We use paper, stamps, all kinds of things, and we make all kinds of things. Right now, we are in the middle of Journal Rush September, where I am on the hunt or on a mission to create 26 journals of two different themes, Halloween and fairy, which don't really seem to go together. However, part of it is because next month is October. Part of it is because we are also in the middle of Fairy Wings and Forgotten Things 2025. So, if you're new here, that's what we're doing. If you're returning, welcome back. I've missed you. It's been a while. How's your mama now? Alright, so what we're doing today is we are making journal cards. Those of you that don't know me very well, which is most of you, will not understand the depths I will go to say I like journal cards. See this box? This humongous box. Let me zoom you out a little bit. Okay. See this box? That's not good either. Let me lift you up. That's better. Okay, this box right here. See how huge this thing is? This box is full of journal cards. So I shouldn't need to make any, right? But I'm gonna. Because I love journal cards. I collect them. I don't know why. But it's my thing. So we're going to make some journal cards. Now, you can make journal cards out of everything. Paper, you can get them pre-printed. I have a bunch of those too. But what I'm going to do today is show you some other ways to make some journal cards. And you can make them any size you want, any way you want. They're journal cards. They're pretty versatile. I don't see my paper cutter, so I don't know where I'll put that. So we'll just be using scissors today. Or, actually, I'll pull out the craft mat and we'll use the rotary cutter. If I can find my rulers, maybe we will just be using it. There they are. Hold on, I'll be right back. Where's the button? Okay, I'm back. So I have a bunch of different rulers, a bunch of options. These are tear rulers. These ones aren't very good, but they work well enough for paper. Wouldn't use them for anything thicker than paper. This is a good option, but not if you're cutting with it. It can slice pieces off. This is a good option, but also not if you're cutting with it, because it's aluminum, it's not steel, and it will cut pieces off. These are better options. These are stainless steel rulers, and they're etched instead of painted on, and that's good because if they're etched on, they won't rub off. Not nearly as easy. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with this piece of packaging from cloth, lace cloth. I bought a bunch of these kinds of cloth at Daiso, the Japanese dollar store. So let's cut it up and see where we go from there. Should be pretty simple. We're just going to take our scissors and cut this piece, these outer pieces off. We're just making bases today. We're not doing a bunch of decoration. We're going to make some bases that you can set aside so that whenever you need a journal card, you can grab one and decorate it up. Now, journal cards is going to be a three-part series, so the next 2 days will also be about journal cards. But they will be more of decorating in the style I want. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this, and what you want to do is use a sharp blade every time, and I don't think this is a sharp blade, but I'm going to use it because, again, it's safer if you use a sharp blade and it cuts easier. You don't want to put a whole lot of pressure on it, and it'll make that cut pretty quick. Now this looks like a pretty good shape for a journal card if you ask me. It's not perfect, of course. We can, if you want, we can take this and we can clean up the edges. Put that there. Put that there. Do all the work to make all of the edges square. And then of course we got that one, so we'll put this one up against there. But I'm not going to go to all that trouble. I did for that one just to kind of show you, but I'm not going to do that for all of these. So we've got these two. I've got another one that came from the same type of thing. I'm going to go ahead and cut it up. Get my fingers out of the way so I don't cut those off. That'd be a bad video, wouldn't it? I think I'm going to leave that one like that and make it just a journal card that opens up. This is pasta packaging. I saved it so that I could do something with it. We're not going to use this piece because these I'm going to use as more of a belly band style project. We'll set those aside. But this is a little over 4 inches tall and that's backwards. 7 inches long. Yeah, 4 by 7. And I think cutting it in half roughly would do. So 1, 2, 3.5 right there. You can't see that on frame. I'll get you in frame here. I just line it up with my squares and count the squares over 1, 2, 3, and cut this one in half. Hold your ruler tight, put a little pressure, but not a huge amount, and it'll cut right in half. They're almost squared. This one might be, but that's okay. Journal cards can be square too. Okay, so we got some of those. We're going to set these all aside. We'll get these little scraps here and put away. We're not throwing them away. We can use these. Not this little bitty one right here. We're not saving this guy. Put that right in the trash can. Put all these in the scrap box. And then we've got these greeting cards here that I am never going to use. There's lots of things you can do with a greeting card, but I hate glitter, so we're going to cover that up real quick. I'm just going to take my ruler and see if I can get in between here and create a whole nother layer. I don't know how well it's glued. Not very, seems like. So we're just going to kind of use our ruler like a knife. Cut that glue. Find the next spot where we can get the ruler in. Looks like right there. Pull it carefully so you don't hurt yourself. Cut that glue. Oh, I missed one. Okay, we got that. And then we'll do this one. Alright, that gives us a whole extra surface. Look at there. These glues are not always held on real well. If you're making your own card, please do better. Because this is just too easy. Of course, you don't have to listen to my advice on cards either. Sorry about that. We'll get a little heavier ruler. First thing I want to do is I'm just going to find my fold line and cut this down the fold. Find the next fold line, cut it down the fold, Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this one right here too, because I don't like the fold lines. They're hard to cover up for me. So I'm just going to line it up, cut it off. Throw that little tiny bit away. We will never use something that small. Okay, I'm gonna leave that. I can cover that up. So we've got something that is roughly 4 by 7, almost 4 by 7. We got here 1, 2, 3, 4, and a little over half by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and almost 7. See? So I'm just going to take these as a stack. See, this one is smaller, but it's still 4.5 inches. So maybe this one's just longer. Ooh, almost 5. This one's almost 5. Doesn't matter. Close enough. Stack them up. Lay them down. 1, 2, 3 and a half. Run your blade across. Check to see if anything's cut so you can get it out of the way. You don't want to cut through too much at once. That cut was not even, but that is okay. There's some more journal cards. Now remember, I'm doing 26 journals. You might not have this many that you're doing. And if not, that's okay. Do as many as you need or want. I always like to do extras. I'm a mass make kind of guy. Oh, this glue's a little stronger. Or this ruler's a little weaker. I'm not really sure which. There we go. And if you wonder why I'm never going to use these, well, that's not really pertinent. It's just greeting cards I'm not going to use. I don't like using store-bought cards anymore. I used to all the time, but I don't care for it anymore. I think my nephew's home. I just heard a car door. I don't know, it could be my sister-in-law. This one's not cooperating, so we're going to loosen up our knife here and get it in on the business. Be very careful if you're using a knife. You couldn't cut yourself. You don't want that. So I'm just going to go ahead and open up a few of these. I got these as part of a lot of greeting cards. There were, oh goodness, maybe 50 in the bag. These are just a few of the ones that I'm not going to use. But I bought them because at the time I was going to cover them up for my personal greeting cards. But I have since decided that isn't the way I want to go. So they're getting used for projects. Why they do these like this? Why don't you just flip it over and just use a half? Just fold the card. Is there any real reason to use a piece this big and have to fold it into thirds? This one, I wish I could have used this one. I got a bunch of nephews who would love it, but there's a press here button and the batteries are dead, so that's not going to work. Here's a little tab or something. Oh, I see, because what you're supposed to do is do it like this and fold this tab so that it stands up in a trifold like that. Cute idea, but it needs a battery, and to do the battery, you have to tear it apart. So I'm going to tear it apart, but not for the battery. Obviously, we'll get the battery once we tear it apart, but I'm not even sure how to begin to tear this one apart. We may skip this one. There's that. I'm not going to skip this one if I can help it, but if I can't get all the glue off of it, and it seems to be like that's the case. They glued all the way down the edge, which is much better than just gluing dots in the middle, but still did not stop me from tearing you apart. Look right here. There's another one we gotta. This is okay. We're gonna put this card aside. We're not gonna use that card. We'll use that card in a different video. We're gonna take these, stack them up, grab our ruler, and cut along the fold. Okay, turn it over, stack it up real good, cut along the fold. I'm going to make these ones different sizes. So we got all these stacks, these whole stacks, huge stacks. Okay, we got these stacks, this stack of 9. Get up here. This stack of 9. However, we're going to take 3 here, 4 over here, and 2 here. Okay, so the first 2, we're just going to do like we did the other ones. Line them up. Cut them in half. Those are going to be my most popular, most favorite size because they're super versatile and they're super easy. You just take your paper, cut it in half, and boom. Card, right? Super easy. These 4, we're going to lay them down right here. 2, 4, 6, 8. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How did I get there? Because I put my thumbs in the right spot. Now that's half, but we're not going to do half. We're going to go over here, and we're going to do one at 3 inches, which will give us this card, which is 3 by almost 4, right? We got 4 of those. Then we got this big thing, and I don't like them this big. You can use them this big. Let's go ahead and save one out so we can have one that big. Now, I'm going to take this one, turn it around the other way. It's 4.5. 4.5 means 2 1/4. Line it up along the, there are numbers, and I do have a quarter mark, so I just line my ruler up along the quarter mark. Now these are what? 4 by 2.5. 2 1/4, sorry. And there's another size. Pretty handy, right? We got these 3. Now, I'm going to show you what size an ATC card is. 1, 2. Line this up here. And we're going to go 3.5. Okay, take those, put them over there. Now we've got our 3.5. Ooh, those aren't going to fit, are they? How'd I do that? Oh well. So this one's 3.5. Okay, and we're going to turn around this way. And we're going to go 2.5. And if that sounds weird, that is the size of a playing card or trading card. This is the size of an ATC. You can do other sizes, but this is the official size of an ATC. Look it up. It's 2.5 by 3.5. Sometimes it's 2.25 by 3.25, or it may be 1/8 of an inch either way. 2.5 by 3.5. I've measured these for years because when I started making them, I didn't know there was anything called an ATC. I just wanted to draw and wanted to be able to fit it in my playing card sleeves where I fit my trading card games. So I measured every trading card I could get my hands on, and within 1/8 of an inch they're 2.5 by 3.5. That's the way they fit into the sleeves. Rant over. Okay, and then we've got some colored cardstock, and I'm not going to make a whole bunch of these. How far are we? We're at 21 minutes, and I don't want to be all day doing this. Y'all don't want to be all day doing this, but I kind of want to show you a few different styles, sizes, techniques, that kind of thing. So we've got some different colors of cardstock. These are the only 3 colored cardstocks I have. You can't have my white cardstock. I need it. I'm printing off fairies. Okay, we're going to lay it down on our mat. And now we get to decide what size we want our cards to be. And I'm going to make a couple of small ones. That are 2 inches wide. Set those aside. We'll come back to that. And then we've got the rest of the stock. And we're going to make some that are 3 inches wide. Can you line up when I line you up, please? Appreciate it. Better still be square. I don't cut crooked. I mean, sometimes, but when I do, it's on purpose. So we're going to do these 3 inches wide. Okay. And I don't know if you can guess where I'm going with the next set, but we're going to line these up. I don't know why they're sticking. My mat's not a sticky mat. And we're going to go 4 inches wide, which apparently gives us a 2 inch. 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3. 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2. Bonus points if you know what that's from, even if I didn't quote it exactly. Cut one crooked. You know what? We will live with it, and we will just take our little sliver here and go home. Put that sliver off. And then the last one is 2 inches. So we'll take our 2 inch ones. And I don't want them to be super short. I just don't. Because if they're skinny, I don't want them to be super short. I could go 2 and that little block right there, but that's, no, 3 still feels too short. So I'm going to go with 4. Okay. And these will be some skinny ones that we can tuck into skinny pockets. And these will be 4.5 because of course they will. Now We've got our 3-inch ones. These can be a little different sizes. Let's see. We could cut them in half and do 4 1/4 each. That's a decent looking size. I like that. We'll do that. Just cut that right there. And then we've got our 4-inch pieces, which are going to look weird if we don't cut them the right length. Because see, if we cut them 2 inches, then all we did is extra work to get those. If we cut them 3 inches, they look too close to those other ones. But if we cut them 4 inches, they're just a square. So we gotta cut them 5 inches. I like that. We'll go with that. You like my reasoning, huh? It's all off the top of my head. Ta-da! And we got these. Okay, we got all those. We're going to take this and put it away. I don't feel like I need this knife anymore. We're going to put it away. Always, always put your sharps back away. Okay, what's next? Well, now that we have our pile of cards, we're going to turn them into something cool. Alright, we have this one. Let's start with just this one. And I have this piece, which isn't long enough either way. We're going to stick it off to the side. I have this piece of ephemera that I'm just going to glue on top of there. Actually, I'm not going to glue because it's shiny on one side. So I'm going to use my double stick tape. Sometimes it's hard for me to open that box. So, you see the holes? I don't care. You won't see them in a minute. So, find the end of your double stick tape. Take it. Am I in frame? Yes, I am now. Lay it down. You might want to burnish it if that's your thing. I'll get to all that in a minute. Turn your card. So, I promised some people that I would tell the story of how my family became obsessed with flamingos. And it is a good story, I think. We haven't always been obsessed with flamingos. This just came around in, I don't know, late 90s, early 2000s. I don't know when the very first flamingo was. I think it was a little earlier than that. Either early 90s or late 80s. But it would have had to have been super late 80s. If you'll excuse me a moment. My dog has been in the craft room. So when my grandmother, when I was young, my grandmother was an apartment manager, and she was an apartment rehabber is what she was. She would go with her crew, which consisted of my mother and my uncle, and some other people, and her husband at the time, and she would go to all these failing apartments and just fix them up, get them back on track, you know, that kind of thing. So she moved around some, and I played in all these apartments, you know, been places that most kids would be like, eh, because that's just what we did. Well, I say most kids. If you're from my generation, you probably would have been doing the same thing. Anyway, so eventually she retired, or she quit. Somehow it happened. And when that happened, she went and got her a piece of property. I forgot to burnish these. Let's do that real quick. Her and her husband bought a piece of property, and they put an old shed out there. Well, a new shed, I suppose. But they put a shed out there and lived in that while they got the money together and the land cleared and such, so that they could put their house out there. Well, one day in the middle of the night, my mother snuck out there with a big old bag of lawn flamingos. And she put them all over the yard. Now, you'd have to ask my mother the story of why lawn flamingos. Something about my grandmother saying they were tacky or something. I'm sure. If I know my grandmother, that's exactly what she said. And that's exactly why my mom did it. That's just the kind of family we are. So, she put the lawn flamingos out. Okay, cool. Well, my grandmother, unbeknownst to my mother, took these lawn flamingos and put them in a box. And many, many, many years later, when my mother and her husband at the time got a house, well, her boyfriend at the time, they didn't get married until after they were in the house. My grandmother was on oxygen and she was having some difficulties, and she could not get out there to place the lawn flamingos. So she hired me. There goes my dog. She hired me, and me and two friends of mine, one of whom was about 8 months pregnant, took the lawn flamingos in the middle of the night, because that's just the kind of people we are. And we got in my four-door Ford Escort hatchback station wagon. We rolled the windows down because it was hot and we like to play music loud. And my best friend was driving, and the pregnant friend was in the front seat and I was in the back seat. And we stopped at the corner, got out, and snuck 3 doors down to my mother's house to place the lawn flamingos. Problem is, my mother and my stepfather were awake, so the light was on. And that's okay, we didn't mind, we were going to do it anyway. But the English Mastiff heard us. The full-grown 230-pound English Mastiff heard us. And once he heard us, he commenced to barking. And with his barking, he aroused suspicion, which caused me and my 8 months pregnant, remember, friend, to run for our lives 3 doors down back to the corner of the street so we could get in the car. And while I was trying to open the back door to get in, my pregnant friend decided she was having none of that trouble, and she dove head first through the front window. Now, the windows were open, so it's not like she dove through the glass. But, yeah, this 8-month pregnant woman outpaced me to the car, dove through the window of the car, and she was about halfway through when my best friend started driving away. So I've got the door open still, and my pregnant friend, she has her lower half just sticking out there in the wind while we're driving away. It was one of the best days of my life. My mother knew it was me that placed the flamingos, but she had no idea about all the scenarios that went with the placing of the flamingos until much later. And by much later, I mean like a week or two, when she confronted me with it. So be it. That's how my family became obsessed with flamingos. And yeah, it's a rather weird story, I suppose, but that's it. And I am fully convinced, even though I have seen everything in my mother's apartment, that she is saving those flamingos for when I eventually get a house. And have no doubt, she has the means, the populace, and the friends to drive 4.5 hours to this town to place said flamingos in my yard, she'll do it. I don't put it past her a bit. But because of this, we've always kind of liked flamingos and whatever. However, my cousin, who is, let's see, I think she was born in 88, which would make her 8 years my junior. She had a baby, and that baby is way more obsessed with flamingos than I am. Just let me, yeah, she's not a baby anymore. She's 20-something, which is hard to believe. That makes me feel old, but here we are. Yeah. So anytime anybody sees anything flamingo, send it to me. Because I like to send it around my family. My family likes to send it around to me. That's just what we do. I think I've got all the colors I need. We're going to decorate this a little bit. Not a whole lot. Because again, we're just trying to make some bases for tags, not full-on tags. So I think I'm going to grab my blenders here. And I haven't washed them, so we get whatever color we get. And I'm going to see if I can create something cool for an effect to kind of match the front here. I'm not going to do all of these with you. I'm just kind of showing you a couple. Let's see. I'm going to do this vintage photo because it's a little better than the other one. I have the ink and I have the oxide, and the oxide is a little more orange to me. So I'm going to do a little bit of this one. I didn't pull out any good blenders. Here's one. And I'm just going to... Nothing really coming out good. These are just cheap dollar store makeup blenders. You can see that I bought some of these. I don't like these as much for what I'm about to do. They have the individual fibers. These are just a sponge. Put some paper down on your desk. I always forget that part, and that's why my desk looks like it does. Put a catcher paper. There's a name everybody calls it. I don't know what it is. We're just gonna make little tornadoes of color here. Now remember, I am not the best at blending, which I think you can tell already that I'm not best at blending. But we're going with it. We're going with it. Squeaky. So yeah, that's how we got to be flamingos. And then my friends, my little group of friends, a little group chat, we've decided we are the Flamingo Mafia, which is why my design team is called the Flamingo Mafia. We send flamingos back and forth, videos, products, AI products, we don't care. We just send it all back and forth. And then I go on and I share it with my mother, who shares it with my aunt, who shares it with my cousin. See, there's that vintage photo. Let me go ahead and show you this other vintage photo. And this is why I don't like the dollar store brushes. You can see they're kind of falling apart as we go here. Here's the other vintage photo. See, it's way more yellow. That's why I don't like it as much. But I've started, so now I'm going to blend some of it in. It looks like a face because of the slots. I may go in and put a piece of cardstock there. Or later on when I decorate it, I may put something else over it. I'm just putting a base down so that we have something to decorate later and I don't have to go in with every color. There's some walnut stain. Let's do some walnut stain. Just a little darker as we go here. Blend it up in. I'm gonna have to get new brushes. These ones are falling apart. I think I'm gonna go on Amazon and try to find the ones made for this, because this is not it. Brushy, brushy. I know, we don't really. But here we go. And then we got just a little bit left here at the bottom. Let's do this ground espresso, which is super dark. This is the dauber for the ground espresso. It's super dark. But you know what? That's okay. I don't know why I feel like singing so much today. Oh, it's not as dark as I thought. Well, that's good. You can tell it's brown. Just gotta floop it in there. I need to watch some ink blending tutorials. Okay, and just because I want to make things difficult for myself, I need just a little bit up here around the edge. And a little to the inside, just mostly around the edge. Give that edge a little highlight there. And that's the best of my blending abilities. It's not great, I know. It's alright. We're going to take this, use our bone folder, and then I'm going to get my actual dauber and use this ground espresso on my edges to just kind of highlight the fact that it's old. You don't have to do everything this way. In fact, some of these are going to be a little more colorful because I know that some of these are going to be for the fairy journal. And the fairies aren't necessarily about that dark, old life. You know what? I think I'm going to clip my edges. You know, I think I might not because I don't know where my edge clipper is. Never mind. Yeah, fairies aren't known for vintage. Fairies are more about sparkly, shiny, and such. Nature. I got those fairies that are about fire, water, earth, and all things spirit. And some people have been asking for lore about my elemental fairies. And you know what? It's coming. It's coming. I'm going to make a big old packet of lore for you. It may not be till closer to the end of the month. I'm still working on it. But I'm thinking about... Look at that. Isn't that pretty? And you even can write here if you want, because it's light enough. This is what you need to do, basically, to get bases. Do some that are like this, and then let me show you some that are not like this. What are we at? We're at 44 minutes. We got a little time. We're going to take this. No, we're not. But yeah, be looking for the lore. Because it'll be coming. And I'm thinking about making it into a pack of papers that you can, if you'd like, print out and put in your journal. And if I do, I'm not going to price them too high. If I don't just give them away, we'll see. I haven't decided. So be on the lookout for that. I'll make a video when it comes out. But we're going to do something a little special for the fairies. Yes, this is old and vintage, but it's money. Fairies like money. Fairies like shiny. Fairies like floral. But more so, they like shiny. I'm just digging in a box of scraps right now. These are more scraps that are strips that I can turn into, you know, belly bands or whatnot. It just happened to be what's on my desk. But I have a lot more in the drawer next to me, so we'll use some of that too. We're going to take this and we're going to turn it into a money card. Now I want 100 to be on the top. I like that like that. I don't think a fairy would go as low as a 5, so give me a 50. I'm going to do a 20 in here, so a 20 in there. Oh. We'll put the 500 on top. Okay. How are we going to do this? Okay, I know I want this. We're going to take... How much do I have? Not enough. Okay, we're going to use glue. We're using glue. I don't know why I was saying that. Why does my glue bottle do this every single time? Anyway, I'm just going to poof some glue on. My brushes are hiding, so we'll just do it with my finger. It's washable glue. It's wet. Whoa. Soap and water washable. That's why I have the paper behind it. To soak up anything and everything that would otherwise be on my desk. And let me show you how we're going to take care of the fact that I have glue on my finger. Let me not show you because I don't have my wet wipes handy. I do have this shop rag. Now I went down to Walmart and I bought a pack of 20 of these wash rags for $5. So that's my shop rags now. I don't use wash rags except for, you know, very rarely. I use African net sponges, and in the kitchen I just use a kitchen sponge. Oh, pardon me. Anyway, we got the 50. We want to put the 20 so that it covers up some. I'll have to go back and put some glue on top. We got the 100. Ooh, don't want to put the hundo down yet. Give me another 20. Right over here. Put the hundo here. And 5. Of course, we'll go right here in the middle. Now, to make sure everything sticks down real good, as best as it can, we're going to go back through, lift things up, slide in a little more glue, squash it down, grab your bone folder, and yes, get it all over the top. Because it's clear glue, it'll dry clear, it'll help hold that in. And remember, this money is old. They don't even make this style of Monopoly money anymore. I got this at a creative reuse center. Look for one near you, by the way. They're great. They have all kinds of supplies that you wouldn't even think of. Like, I got these Monopoly money, they have game tokens, they have there was a big shot up there. If I needed a big shot, I would have bought it for like 50 bucks. They have, you know, old cookie tins and cardboard tubes, and just, if you name it, you can find it at the Creative Reuse Center. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do is tell my family when I pass that I want my stuff that they don't want donated the stuff that the reuse center wants anyway to be donated. I want them to have the Creative Reuse Center take a look through my stuff and see what they want and what they don't want before they drop anything off at Goodwill. I don't want them to drop anything off at Goodwill anyway. I want it to go to the Creative Reuse Center, and if they don't want it, there is a thrift store attached to a church that helps families and women and children who are in abusive situations. I want it to go there if it doesn't go to the reuse center. And that was probably a lot to dump on y'all all at once. I'm sorry, y'all don't need to know all of my life story, but yeah, find you a Creative Reuse Center. They're great. I got all this Monopoly money and old pictures and cabinet cards, and I might have done something dumb here. I got blueprints, a Berta sewing magazine. It's German, I know that. Okay, so we're gonna try to get the card off of here because I just went ham on that glue, which is nice, but I don't need the card sticking to the paper. Everything else, whatever, but I don't need the card sticking to the paper. So we're gonna pull it off. Grab another piece of paper. I don't care if they stick together. It's fine. I'll use them for something. Put that down. We're going to set that aside, let it dry, and then when it dries, I'll trim it all up. I'll show it to you in tomorrow's video because I'm not going to show it and wait for it today. But that's all it takes to do a fairy card, really. And then you can also do some stamping. I've got stamps out here that are good for fairies and Halloween and everything in between. We got this paisley stamp that I really love. I'm going to take my card out, roughly measure what size it is so I know where to put my ink. And we're just going to put some ink down. Hope that does it. Put this down. Find my bone folder. I got ink all over it because I had ink on my hands. We'll cover that up later. Pull it up. Ta-da! Look at that. It's got floral in it. So there's the paisley print. And then say, like this right here, I didn't get it all covered. Let's do... That's the Christmas stars. I don't want to put them out. Hang on a second. Get into the next stamp set. Shakes box. Nobody asked you. Okay, and here's some flowers. And since we already have some flowers, these are leaves, but we already have some flowers in there. I'm just gonna take my acrylic block, pop this on there. I'm going to throw one of these on there, and I think I'm going to put this guy on there in a different direction. Let's see if this will fit too. Okay, we got a few different directions there, and let's do it with mustard seed. Mustard. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Okay. I'm just going to take it. Apparently that's where we're stamping it. I am not doing that again. Just take it and foof it around till it runs out of ink. Like that. Let's get a green out. Oh, why did I get a green out? Do I have green? I have peeled paint. Peeled paint. And change up our stamps a little bit. We'll take these ones off. I'll go back and clean those a little bit. And here's a butterfly. I want to use this butterfly. Need some green peeled paint. Make sure it gets good and done. Okay, and let's not do what we did last time. Let's actually stamp it where we want it the first time. Make it go off the page. Make it look more like it's supposed to be there, like that. Alright, what do we think? I think the fairies would like that. The fae, excuse me. So, there are some cards that we have pre-decorated a little bit. Just turned into card bases for the next time that we need a journal card. And I'm going to be making a whole bunch more of these off camera. And then tomorrow show up. Make sure you show up. Because tomorrow I'm going to be decorating Halloween cards. Okay? Tomorrow it'll be Halloween cards. And on Sunday it'll be fairy cards. Alright? And tomorrow, don't forget, I'm going to show you what this looks like after I cut it down. After it dries and I cut it down. Be on the lookout for that. Alright. I hope you gained some information, learned something, had some fun, and enjoyed the stories. A lot of you said that you enjoyed the stories last time, so I wanted to make sure I added in a story. At least one. Apparently, I just went off on tangents. So, yeah. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Decorating some journal cards with you, having a chat. Be on the lookout for the fairy lore coming. I've got a new kit I'm working on. I'm not sure when it's going to drop, because in between all this other stuff is when I'm working on it, so it's not a high priority at the moment. But it is there, and I am working on it. So, hopefully I can get it dropped before the end of the month. I will make a video with a flip through of the pages, because y'all said you wanted that. Make sure you check out my link tree. Make sure you check out my Facebook group, my Ko-fi. I'm not really on the other socials as much. I have them, and occasionally I remember to post there. But this is my main social. This and the Facebook group. So, check them out. Let me know what you want to see more of, what you want to see less of. What do you want to see me create? What do you want, any tutorials? Is there anything you're not sure about that you'd like me to go over to kind of help you out? Would you like a $50 bill? It's for you. Haha, it's Monopoly money, you can't spend it. Anyway, sorry. I'm on a little bit of a craziness kick today. So, hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Make sure that you're subscribing and hitting the notification bell so that YouTube will tell you when I have a new video out. Make sure, if you enjoyed today's video, that you hit that like button. That lets me know that you're watching. It lets me know that you're enjoying. And it really does make my day when I get likes and comments. Hit me up in the comments. Tell me what you like, what you don't like. What do you think about my flamingo story? You know, whatever you want to talk about. Tell me in the comments. I answer all of them. And yeah. But I want to say thank you, because if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be here doing this. I don't do this for me, because I can do this for me without a video camera in my face. It takes less time, it takes less effort. So, but I do this because I know I like to watch these videos, and I thought y'all might like to watch these videos. But yeah, if it wasn't for you guys, this wouldn't be a thing. So I really appreciate y'all being here and listening, and I hope you had a lot of fun. I love you guys, and I will see y'all next time. Bye!